Well, welcome back to SentinelOne OneCon 25. I'm Doug White from Security Weekly News, and we're here at the lovely Cosmopolitan Hotel. It's much better than the last one we did at the Lucky Cuss, which is a real hotel. Hey, Lucky Cuss, you know we love you. 15 bucks a night.
I had no idea.
It's
You
over,
might not survive the night, right?
it's over off Fremont Street, but you know.
Hey, you know what? Shoot your shot. There was a time in life, right?
Yeah. Well, I get a chance to talk to Brian Mendenhall today. Brian is the worldwide head of security and identity partner specialist at AWS.
Longest title possible. Yeah.
Well, you know, that way they give you a bigger door.
That's exactly it.
Or they abbreviate it
The
all.
thing that goes on the desk, it's just,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
I think my title is like host. That's why I get that little bit.
I think as you move up, it goes down, and eventually it'll just be AWS. Brian Mendenhall, AWS.
Yeah, why not? Well, that would be, well, it's nice that, yeah, your company's now is that like that small.
Yeah.
And it's like IBM. Everybody knows what it is now. You don't have to go AWS and everything. And what is that exactly?
It's a startup. Nobody's heard of it.
Yeah, but no, yeah. Today we can say AWS, and I think everybody's on board, don't you think? Yeah. Okay. Now what do we do? Okay, I got it.
Talk about some stuff. Let's do it. I'm here.
Okay, so yeah, so one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, because when I do these, I always read the people's like sheets and everything, and I sort of think, what would I ask? And all the stuff here was right up my alley because I teach IDS at the university.
Yes.
I've been doing that kind of stuff in the industry and in, forever, like 100 years, and like when before they added the L to Unix,
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And one of the things that I kind of wanted to talk to you about was like, there's this sort of expanding cloud of gas that starts at an endpoint. And originally it ended there. There was a wire that came to my mainframe station and I went, who just logged in?
Yep.
Is that you, Bill? Okay. Yeah, you're okay because you didn't make me mad this week.
Yep.
And
Welcome
then,
to work.
then we networked it all, and then we networked it again, and then we networked it again, and now we're in this place that I kind of call the fog. And it's an endpoint, it's a network, it's a virtual network that's backhauled through the cloud to another network on another place.
Do people say nodes anymore? Was that everything? Or is that just me?
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, it was a thing. I haven't heard it, but yeah, I remember when everybody said nodes.
I am also like of the kilt. Like it's I've been around for a while. I remember that the Linux, the Unix, the HPUX, like all of the UXs. And then the nodes, the bumps.
The UXs.
Yeah.
HPUX, Solaris.
Yeah. Oh boy.
So we just said Solaris on camera.
Am I allowed to say that when I work at AWS?
I don't know. Solaris doesn't even exist anymore, does
Yeah,
it?
then we're good.
I mean, is it still there?
Statute of limitations.
I don't even think they have that anymore. I know we should talk about what we're supposed to talk about.
Yeah, security.
But I guess, yeah. Well, Solaris, yes. I guess what I was wondering is, I mean, since you're in that very foggy space of AWS, and I know now that like my endpoint is attached to you. It's also attached to somebody else. That somebody else attached to somebody else, and on and on and on and on. And I'm sharing files with Sharon in Singapore that is sharing files with Bill in, I don't know, Johannesburg.
Right.
And all of that is going through you and maybe some other parties all at the same time. So how do you think that organizations start to deal with this expanding ball of gas that to me is just almost overwhelming? I mean, as an IDS person, security person, I start thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do here. It's pretty terrifying. So
I think the answer, if I look at my notes, is you just throw some AI at it, and then it just like the web
all problem
solves itself, is what I've been told. No, don't do that. I'm just kidding. No, it's, I mean, if you look at like the CISO's handbook, right? Step one is literally, what do you got? What is out there? What is in your environment? And auditing and discovery of your environment and how these systems are interconnected is like the first step in evaluating your risk, right? You have no idea what your risk is if you don't know what's out there, how it's all talking to each other, what security controls are in place around your goodies, and then what's the value on each of these assets and what is it talking to, right? You tip something over here And then all of a sudden your accounting server over here goes down and you need to know what those interconnected dependencies are.
Oh, I mean, I think it's beyond even security. It's even just like, I patch this, that crashes, and oh yeah, and that affects this
Oh,
thing
yeah.
over here. And that's one reason people don't patch, because they're terrified of this house of cards that is all this. So how do you start that? I mean, I'm 100% with you. I've been yapping about that for
Yeah.
years and years, about you got to know what you have.
Yes. I mean, there's tools out there, right? Like there are solutions out there that can do automatic discovery, either at like the endpoint level, at the network level, at the server level, what we call like the infrastructure workload or application level. Having a good tool to help, but also understanding like from a top-down approach, I think is really important as well. Like what are the environments that I'm in, and then what is the right tool for the job in order to do some of that discovery? So, like quick plug on the AWS side, we have things like Macy. Macy is an AWS service that customers can use to do auto discovery. It's more on like the data side, but data is just another angle of the same discussion of like
It
my
is.
endpoints and nodes. Same thing with data. Like what data do I have? Where is it? What is in it? And then how is it protected?
But yeah, I mean, I used to do consulting for what you can tell how old it is, disaster recovery planning, which is now called business continuity.
Right.
Back then, they would call it disaster, because it was like, just tell it like it is. Come on. And that was one of the first questions that we asked people, and that was long before AWS was just 3 letters.
Yeah.
And, just where's your data?
Yeah.
Do you know? And even then, when it was like probably in the server room,
Yeah.
they still usually didn't know.
100%.
And today, they probably honestly don't know.
How many, like, I'm curious, people that are watching this, how many people are still using spreadsheets? Like, I did the spreadsheet thing 20 years ago.
Lots of
I've
people
been
are
there.
using spreadsheets.
Yeah, like, it's real.
I did an audit once, so this was like, Sarbanes, and one of the questions we were asking was, "Where's your data? Where's everything?" And we found something like, 100,000 spreadsheets, and nobody knew what most of them were. They
Yeah.
just but they're all over the place, and I'm like, "Well, do any of these have critical data?"
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I think it's become very onerous from the perspective of just hardware, software management
Yep.
as it spreads into this cloud of everything. And then that actually brings to the question of interconnectivity.
Mhm.
We now see these chains that are terrifying to me,
Yeah.
because I write a piece of code. I download a library off of NumPy, or not NumPy, PyPy.
Huh?
NumPy, however you want to say it. I don't care. I say NumPy, and people don't like it. And they say, but it's a whole thing.
Gift.
But I mean, I think it's always, I install 5 libraries in my Python code, and then you add some libraries. Well, and then I add your library, and your library adds somebody else's library, and
Yeah.
suddenly I've got this huge chain of things, and then it's spread across the globe. And we see these outages like DNS fails, and like half the world stops working, all afternoon. How do we start dealing with that? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, there's so many components to that, right? Because you've got like your software, supply chain and bill of materials. You've got like your security bill of materials as a part of that, and then you've also got like the interdependencies within your security providers as well, right? Like how many how many software solutions, software as a service or ISV software products are out there that wholly own and build every single piece of what is in their technology stack? It's zero, I guarantee you, right? Software vendors are using other software vendors, are using other software vendors to build the software products that they sell to customers. And oftentimes those things go down or a change happens somewhere in this life cycle of chains, and then it breaks something else. And it is, if you look at it, it's a big circle, right?
right.
So, I mean, it could be like some small thing happens in some far off place, and then an application goes down over here, which causes a massive outage somewhere else. And it's all because of these supply chains, software supply chains. And it's at the code level. It's even at the macro level of the software itself that's being used in
And it's even starting to filter into like the micro hardware level.
Oh yeah.
I mean, UEFI and all that kind of stuff has become problematic too. So how are people starting to embed AI into all these things?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we started with everything has to have AI. My
And
toothbrush has AI, but we are seeing that. I think I see a lot of the potential there as well as the threat surface. But where is it going?
it's the right formula. It's the right formula in that you've got generative AI, which is an intelligent decision based on the data that it sees, right? In natural language. So you've got this like brain that can make smart decisions. And the better trained, the smarter it is, we hope, right? And the more fidelity you get in those decisions. And then you've got this agentic piece, which is the interconnectivity of multiple, typically disparate systems.
Right.
Right. And so now you've got all the things that you need in order to do this at scale across multiple systems. So if you've got like, you know, this company that provides your network layer, and then you've got this company that does your endpoint protection, this company, you've got the UXs at your server, layer, and they all need to talk to each other. You can have this kind of like agentic architecture with a centralized generative AI to be able to just ask a plain text question. What do I got? Like, what is in my environment? What is out there? What are my software chain, uh, you know, uh, you know, risks and things that are out there? And you can get, theoretically, you can get real answers back.
That makes sense. I mean, I can really see that I mean, I need it, I
Well,
mean, and I don't even have a large scale operation, but I mean, I can't quite fathom anymore, what it's gonna look like if I was having to audit a worldwide network that was spread across not just AWS, but there's many, many providers of these, these kind of hyperscalers and so forth. I love them. I wish I had more money to spend on them because they're awesome, but it also just is very, very frightening to me because even just in my little tiny world at the school, I build a lot of like hyperscaler-esque kind of things for my students. So they have stuff to play with, right? And I have all these servers and all these things that are all just virtual machines and they're all sitting there. But I see very quickly how I lose the thread of what all that stuff is. I mean, I have whiteboards covered in all these, different things and what they do. And even then, I've already started going, "What is that?"
yeah.
I was scanning my network the other day. I was like, what is that?" And,
Well, I think that the risk too that we face is that now that we have these machines making these intelligent decisions based on the data that it sees, now that you've inventoried, the next thing for you to ask it is, build something else, build this thing, build this new thing, and then the complexity continues to increase of this, like basically what is mapping out the internet at this point, right?
okay,
And so I expect that we're going to continue to see more complexity in how things are.
it's gonna get worse.
It's gonna get way worse. In what is actually being deployed, the interface and usability might be simpler, for people to use, but what is produced and created, I think, is gonna get more complicated.
It's almost like maybe another layer slides in there, I mean, it's almost like another layer of virtualization between all of the actual hypervisory kind of
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
then all the virtual stuff laying on top of it. It's almost like maybe another layer of virtualization has to slide in there. That's the human comprehension layer.
Yeah.
So that we're allowing your customers that are using these massive spaces to be able to actually comprehend what's there. But
Yeah.
I think it's just going to get too overwhelming.
It is, and, I made a mistake. I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and I was like, "Yeah, AI, before it automates a response, you've got man in the middle." I'm like, "Wait, that's not right. Not man in the middle, human in the loop. That's the right one."
Oh, okay.
Man in the middle is like a type of security
Yeah, I
attack,
know. Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah.
But that human in the loop piece is definitely important, and I wonder how many people are asking their AI systems to simplify what they already have.
Yeah.
Like, how often do we do that? How often do we say, like, make this more efficient, reduce, maybe the optimization piece of that, I think is gonna be really important.
Yeah, I used to call that scale back or optimization, and that was something that we looked at with clients, that were even long ago having those kind of incidents where they just literally couldn't fathom it anymore. They didn't keep their docs up. They had a network diagram that Bill drew back in, 89. So, it wasn't updated. Yeah. I mean, that was, we'd always ask for the network diagram and I'm like, okay, this is literally dated 89. I'm like, who is Bill? And they're like, oh yeah, Bill retired in
Matrix
93.
spinner.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. And we saw tons of those.
Yeah.
And then it was really hard to do incident response. But
Yeah.
I used to do incident response. If you would call me and I would come in
Man.
and I'm like, oh, we have no idea.
Yeah.
And that was in the physical world.
Yes.
When I started dealing with this stuff, it's just crazy. I mean, I got all this stuff connected up there. In fact, I wanted to ask you something. I don't know if it's even related, but I didn't know what it meant. One of the terms I saw on the sheets that I was looking at was co-building.
Okay.
And that was about partnerships with
Yeah.
AWS. I'm hoping they'll give me a free one, but um But I mean, I was wondering if you could tell me what that means actually.
Yeah. Yeah. So the idea here is that we at AWS, we've got a massive amount of customer signal.
Mhm.
What are customers asking for? How do they want to consume it? What do they want it to look like, touch, feel? What's the experience and what's the outcome? And so, the idea here is that we're so uniquely positioned to be able to say, hey, you know what? Let's bring in some of our partners that have the absolute best capabilities in the world,
Okay.
work with them to have this kind of like integrated solution that drives that outcome. And now they're getting the best of both worlds. It's that, like, I hate this term, but I'm going to say it. I'll be mad at myself for saying this, but like the 1+1 = 3 concept.
Okay.
But it's just it's a gross business term. But the idea is that, like, when we combine the unique differentiated capabilities of SentinelOne plus AWS native security services like Security Hub and Guard Duty and some of the things that we have on the truck, we have an opportunity to build something really, really unique that drives an incremental value to the customers and has a seamless experience. That's the mental model that we're approaching here. And we want to make sure that we've mapped out the customer taxonomy of security of, whether it's endpoint detection and response, it's SIM, it's SOAR, it's NDR. It can be all kinds of different things. And I just threw out a ton of acronyms. I apologize for that. But when we work with our partners to build something that is hyper integrated, a seamless experience, and a really, really like strong outcome, the customers win. And ultimately, that is what is absolutely most important.
I mean, part of me loves the way that sounds.
Yeah.
Part of me's scared of it. Well, it sounds awesome,
Yeah.
but it also sound again, it's back into this just expanding cloud of gas, and
Yeah.
there's this massive space that that is all
So
there.
something tangible, right? Something tangible, like an example of where we've done this, is AWS Security Incident Response and hyperautomation with SentinelOne. So the idea is that with AWS, we have a group of responders that are able to help customers when they're having a really bad day, and they're dealing with a security incident. We have telemetry that we can help bring forth, and then we can help kind of coordinate a lot of these things. But the SentinelOne hyperautomation is literally all of those workflows, and all that data flows directly into that incident response engagement. So customers don't need to look at, like we were talking earlier, where's my stuff? What is in scope of the breach or incident? What is out of scope? All that flows in with the workflows into a singular incident response engagement.
And so that starts to look like an autonomous SOC.
It looks like one thing to the
Yeah.
customer, and it looks like an autonomous SOC. Yeah.
And that's a pretty nice thing to have.
Yeah.
I like it. I wish I had one, but
Hey, I wouldn't mind one either.
yeah, it would be handy, right? I could run it at my house.
I wouldn't mind. Like the number of times that I get those emails like, hey, we're a healthcare company or somebody, we've had a breach and your social security number is now Googleable. That's not great. So
Yeah. I don't want to see my electric bill if I start running it. But we already get those notices saying you use 25% more electricity than everyone else.
yeah. Sorry, it's a data center in the garage.
I have a data center in my basement. So
Yeah,
it's like I own my servers in my racks, but we don't need heat. So it's just like, yeah, I used to heat my office with
house
those
in-
server racks. Yeah. And that's the whole house. My office was
Okay.
heated with server racks.
That's amazing.
It was, yeah, I had like 12 servers in there because I was running all my virtualization for school at my house.
Okay.
And that way my students had access to all kinds of cool stuff.
Do you do like hot side, cold side?
Yeah.
So like on the summer days, you like switch to the cold side?
Yeah, no, we weren't able to. On the summer days, we put up lots of air conditioning units, they
Yeah.
turned them on. And then the electrical, we did the whole town dimmed when I did that and that kind of thing. All right. Well, thanks to Brian Mendenhall for joining us, the worldwide head of security and identity partner specialist at AWS. I'm going to shorten that part. Be sure to check out all our content from OneCon 25. Thanks for watching. I'm Doug White for Security Weekly News. If this interview is sponsored by SentinelOne, if you visit securityweekly.com/OneCon, you can see this interview and other information about SentinelOne. And, well, you know what AWS is. So please check it out. Thanks. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.